How is it going, everyone? Today with my WWE Elimination Chamber 2019 pay-per-view. Of course, the Elimination Chamber was the first stop on the road to WrestleMania. And of course, it aired on the WWE Network as well as pay-per-view tonight. And overall, I gotta say, coming out of the Elimination Chamber, I thought for what it was, I thought it was a good show. It wasn't that good of a show, like it wasn't great or anything like that, but also wasn't terrible. I thought it had a fine mix of a lot of good stuff, but definitely had some bad stuff as well in the show. So, it was easy to sit through. I didn't really have that much of a struggle. I thought, everything was fine. Even though I will say this show, I feel like it had no significance at all. I know, of course, obviously we had the crowning of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, but honestly, nothing on the show, felt significant to the road to WrestleMania. I feel like nothing on the show really changed the landscape or really brought more interest into WrestleMania. I just feel like this is definitely a filler show. I feel like one of the house shows that they produce on the network that just throw as a pay-per-view, like Crown Jewel and Super Showdown, shows like that, this definitely had that vibe where it felt like it had no significance, but it was a show that was happening. I don't know, that's the best way I can put it. It just felt like it had no significance to it, but I still thought it was a solid show for what it was. Honestly, no real complaints from me about it. I thought, the Raw Women's title stuff was great, not the match itself, but the angle they shot, that was great. The main event was fantastic, and there's some other good stuff as well, and like I said, some bad stuff as well in the show. So it wasn't perfect, but it definitely was a solid show for what it was, I felt. Of course, before the show started, of course, we had the 1 hour kickoff show 1 hour prior to the pay-per-view, which featured the WWE Cruiserweight Championship match between Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa. I thought it was actually a really good match here in the kickoff show, which is kind of funny because during the match, they actually cut away backstage to the New Day because they were doing an interview, to hype up Kofi being the match. So why they do those interviews during the match is beyond me. They easily could have waited till afterwards, but just thought that was a little, goes to show you how much they think of the Cruiserweight division to, have an interview going on during the match. So match itself was really good, like I said. Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa kind of slow at first, but they started beating the fuck out of each other. They had some nice spots where, Akira Tozawa went for the diving headbutt to the outside, but Buddy Murphy actually caught him into a suplex, which absolutely came off awesome. Akira Tozawa did an awesome Frankensteiner where Buddy Murphy caught him up and looked like he was going to give him a power bomb, but Akira Tozawa actually countered it into a Frankensteiner. Awesome spot right there. Buddy Murphy did this one spot where he just absolutely annihilated Akira Tozawa, where he caught him to a fireman's carry and kind of like did the Ty Dillinger finish where he throws him, turns him, and knees him in the face, grabs him, V trigger right to the face, followed by a brainbuster. That was an absolutely awesome sequence for Buddy Murphy right there. Akira Tozawa had to come back in an awesome, beautiful reverse Ronda on Buddy Murphy for a nice near fall. Then of course the end came where Buddy Murphy just absolutely annihilated Akira Tozawa with a running knee, followed by Murphy's Law. 1, 2, 3. Buddy Murphy retains the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Like I said, that was a really good match in the kickoff show. The Cruiserweight division definitely, deserves more credit than it gets. Buddy Murphy's been an awesome champion. The dude's awesome. He should be on the main roster, whether it's Raw or SmackDown Live. He shouldn't be in the Cruiserweight division, but he's been doing a fantastic job as champion, and he had a really good match with Akira Tozawa in the kickoff show. So no complaints from me about that. Then of course we go into the main show, which opened up with the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Of course, Sasha Banks and Bayley taking on the IIconics, taking on Sonya, Deville, and Mandy Rose, taking on Naomi and Carmella, taking on Nia Jax and Tamina, taking on the Riott Squad. This match definitely wasn't the best. I mean, I think the last two teams really made this match for me because I thought their ending sequence was great, which really, like I said, to me made the match. But besides that, I feel like there's a lot of sloppiness in this match, which, it's an Elimination Chamber, but when you have 12 people in the ring, which they didn't have, not everyone was in the ring at once, obviously, but just that many people in the chamber was just, it was bound to not click, and there's a lot of miscues. You can definitely tell a lot of spots were very sloppy, and the timing was very, very off. But it had its moments for sure. I'm not going to downplay everyone. I thought, mostly everyone did a pretty good job, especially Mandy and Sonya. I definitely felt like they came out of this match the stars. They definitely looked the absolute best in my opinion. The Riott Squad impressed, especially, Liv Morgan. I definitely thought she had some shining moments in this match as well. But I thought everyone, played their role pretty well for the most part. Even the IIconics, even though they didn't do anything in this match at all, besides just look bad. Just everything they do just comes off so bad in my opinion. But, they can talk, and, they definitely were the best part of this match, actually, for a good portion of it until they got eliminated, unfortunately. But of course, the match started off with Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville taking on Sasha Banks and Bayley. The order of the entries into the match were the Riott Squad, then the IIconics, then Naomi and Carmella, followed by Nia Jax and Tamina. There were some nice spots in the match. Of course, they did the infamous spot where they did the Tower of Doom spot on Bayley, which led into the IIconics entering the match, and then they did a skit where they try to pin everyone, and they're just freaking out. A horrible spot, too, where Peyton Royce did like a dive onto Sasha and Bayley, but the thing is, Sasha and Bayley were like facing towards the rope, and she did the spot where it only works if like their body is like next to the ropes. So the way she did it when she went over, she just absolutely kicked both of them in the face. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So that was whatever it was. But then Mandy Rose actually did a spot where she had her foot cut into the chamber. Not Becky Lynch. What the hell am I thinking about? Bayley gave her a neck breaker onto the mat, which how high Mandy's foot was when she hit the neck breaker. Mandy didn't even hit the ground because her foot was so high up that she couldn't reach the ground. So that looked pretty painful. Like I said, they did the Tower of Doom spot. Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan did a nice spot where they're both on top of a pod. They both did in stereo cross bodies, which came off really nice, especially Liv Morgan. She got a lot of height on her jump. Nia Jax, speared through the pod, which took her out of the match, which she looked absolutely stupid because Bayley was nowhere near in front of the pod, yet somehow Nia went through the pod. It came off terribly. There's a nice spot with Sasha Banks and Sonya Deville where Sasha hit the double knees, the backstabber followed into Bayley's Bayley to belly for a nice near fall right there. So there's a lot of good stuff in this match. And of course, the order eliminations went. The IIconics end up eliminating Naomi and Carmella when beautiful cover, by the way. I think Billy rolled up Naomi, and then Peyton just did a beautiful jackknife onto Naomi to eliminate her. So that was a great pin right there. Nia Jax and Tamina eliminated the IIconics once they did double Samoan drops, and both of them pinned both of them, both eliminated. Then, of course, Nia Jax and Tamina got eliminated once Nia Jax went through. Oh, no, they eliminated the Riott Squad, sorry, when Nia Jax hit a Samoan drop from the second on Liv Morgan. Then, of course, Tamina hit a Superfly splash onto both Morgan and Sarah Logan to eliminate them. Then, of course, Nia Jax got eliminated, or Tamina got eliminated for her team after everyone just hit finishes on them. Bayley hit an elbow drop. They all covered on top of Tamina, eliminated her. So not her and Tamina, or her and Nia Jax were out of the match. So the final two teams were the first two teams to actually start the match, which I thought was a great touch. Great sequence. I thought the psychology from both teams, the storytelling, and just the in-ring work itself. A lot of great near falls. They replicated the spot from last year where Bayley Sasha's on top of the chamber and Bayley was trying to climb up, and of course, Sasha of course knocked her down, but this time Sasha actually helped her up, and that played in the story, of course. I love the finish too, where they worked on Sasha Banks's shoulder. They took out Bayley, so it came down to pretty much Sasha. Mandy hit her finisher on Sasha. Sasha kicked out. Sonya went to spear Sasha Banks, but Sasha Banks moved out of the way. She ended up spearing Mandy. And then, of course, Sasha Banks locked in the Banks statement onto Sonya Deville to get the submission victory. So, of course, Sasha Banks and Bayley are your inaugural WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. I think everyone expected them to win, but I really, really, really wanted Mandy and Sonya to get the victory here. I feel like they were a deserving team. Maybe they get the tag team titles down the line, because like I said, in my opinion, they were the stars of this match. But, Bayley and Sasha have been fighting for this and being vocal about this for years. So, I can't say they made the wrong decision, but I really wish they would have put the titles on Mandy and Sonya instead. Of course, big moment for those two. Did the whole thing. They got interviewed afterwards. They were very emotional. Beth Phoenix was on commentary for this match, and she was even emotional on commentary, trying to talk during that moment. So it was a great moment for them, but I just really wish the titles would have went to Mandy and Sonya instead. But yeah, I still thought this match for the most part was still very good. Like I said, I felt like the final two, when they came on the Mandy and Sonya taking on Sasha and Bayley, I felt like the match definitely kicked a notch up and was really, really good. So, yeah, that was definitely a great way to open the show. Of course, from there we go to the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, The Miz and Shane McMahon defending against the Usos. This was a really good match here, I thought, as well. Of course, Miz started off the Usos. The Usos, kind of mimicked Miz, especially Jimmy, who was, doing the Miz's moveset. Shane got the hot tag. Shane ran and rushed out over both Usos, hitting the DDTs on both of them. He actually kicked one of the Usos, which absolutely annihilated him. And then, of course, set both of them up for coast to coast. Hit the coast to coast successfully on one of the Usos, and once he went on it for the other Uso actually hit him with a super kick in midair. Kind of similar to when Roman Reigns speared Shane McMahon at Survivor Series a couple years ago, so I thought it was a great spot right there for a nice near fall. Then, of course, Miz, was able to rush out at the Usos, clear the table up, put one of the Usos on the table. Shane McMahon, of course, did the elbow drop through the table onto the Uso, and then, of course, Miz was able to get the other Uso isolated. Threw him in the ring, had a nice back and forth exchange. Miz hit a skull crush finale, but of course went for the pin. He took his precious time because he couldn't get the energy to pull him over. But once he finally got him over on his back, Miz made the mistake of pinning him on his back, and then of course the Uso was able to transition that pin into a cradle, and 1, 2, 3. The Usos are your brand new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I was surprised by that. I definitely didn't think the Usos would win the Tag Team titles here. I thought Miz and Shane would definitely be champions to at least Fastlane, but to see him lose it here in their first defense, I don't know. Obviously, it's, creating animosity between the Miz and Shane. Miz is blaming himself and being pissed, and Shane's telling him it's okay, it's fine. But, I was surprised to see Miz and Shane lose it right away. I thought for sure they'd at least get one title defense in before losing it, but I guess, they want to put the titles in the Usos, but at the same time, who Usos going to feud with? I guess they can do Nakamura and Rusev versus Usos for the tag team titles, but I don't know. I love the Usos, but it just, them as tag team champions does not interest me, so that's why I didn't care to see them in the tag team titles. But I still thought it was a pretty damn good match still. I did really enjoy it. So yeah, that was that. From there, we go to the 2-on-1 handicap match for the Intercontinental Championship. Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush versus Finn Bálor. Nothing really here. Bobby Lashley worked over Bálor, tagged in Lio Rush. Lio Rush quickly tagged back out once Finn Bálor got the upper hand. And then Lashley just, manhandled Finn, put him in various holds. Just typical boring Bobby Lashley match that you'd see on Raw. And then, Bobby Lashley, of course, set him for the spear on Finn Bálor. Lio Rush tagged himself in, which I rated Bobby Lashley. Went for the frog splash. Finn Bálor got out of the way. Bálor was able to take out both Lashley and Lio Rush to the outside. Did, of course, the tope suicida onto the outside onto both of them. Threw Lio Rush back in the ring. Hit the corner dropkick, followed by the coup de grace for the 1-2-3. And Finn Bálor is your brand new Intercontinental Champion. Very, very excited about that. Definitely was the right decision. Bálor should have been Intercontinental Champion a year ago. But it's better late than never. I've always thought that title was, made for him, and I'm very excited to see where he goes going forward as Intercontinental Champion. So I'm very happy about that. Great moment for him. He booked it right away too. As soon as the 3 count happened, Bobby Lashley realized it. He booked the fuck out of that ring, which I thought was hilarious. So yeah, new Intercontinental Champion. Very excited about that. Very happy to see Finn Bálor's reign going forward. And of course, afterwards, Bobby Lashley was irate, infuriated. He looked like he was going to attack Lio, and he's like, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Then of course, they helped him up. Then of course, he beat down Lio Rush afterwards. So obviously, I guess Lio and Bobby are done, which I'm all for because I never liked the pairing to begin with. So, hopefully this means Lio Rush goes back to 205 Live and we don't have to see him every week on Raw. So that was that. Like I said, pretty much a boring, average Raw match, but an exciting title change. So I was very happy about that. From there, I'm going to the Raw Women's Championship match. Ronda Rousey defending against Ruby Riott. Charlotte Flair comes out, of course, first and pretty much, says that, I'm going to WrestleMania. I'm facing Ronda, blah, 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 blah. Typical Charlotte promo. The match itself is exactly how you'd think it would go. Ruby tried to play the game where she tried to, run around the ring for about 5 minutes before Ronda finally caught her. Ronda hits Piper's Pit, armbar, submits Ruby Riott like less than 2 minutes. It was very, very quick. Definitely was a waste of time. So Ronda quickly retains, which by the way, she looked good in her Sonya Blade attire, of course, playing a homage to her Mortal Kombat character, so I thought that was a nice touch on her part. So yeah, she quickly retains the Raw Women's Championship. Then afterwards, Charlotte gets in the ring. Charlotte kind of stares her down, and of course, out of nowhere, Becky Lynch comes out of the crowd in crutches, throws a crutch in the ring, goes in the ring, and standing there in crutches, and Charlotte's kind of making fun of her. Then all of a sudden, Becky throws one crutch, starts wailing the fuck out of Charlotte. Charlotte's doing her best Rick impersonation. Oh god, sound, which I thought she did a great job selling, by the way. And then Becky gives Ronda the other crutch, says, hey, beat the fuck out of Charlotte. And then before Ronda has opportunity, Becky starts clocking the shit out of Ronda with the crutch, to the point where it cuts the fuck out of Ronda. Like, she was nailing Ronda in the head with the crutch, by the way. Like, she wasn't like hitting her in the arm, the stomach. She was nailing her in the head, legit shots. And Ronda got busted open from it, and I thought that was a great touch. But yeah, Becky beats the fuck out of both Ronda and Charlotte. I thought that was a great segment. Definitely was a great way to hype up the WrestleMania main event with the 3 of them, I'm assuming to be a triple threat or singles if Becky beats Charlotte to take her spot. But as of right now, I'm not for a triple threat, but they're building me towards it and selling me on it. So I definitely thought Becky came off like a badass. She came off like, no, don't fuck with me. And even when I'm hurt, I'm still going to beat your ass. So I thought they did a tremendous job of that segment all around. Got me excited for their match. So kudos to them. From there, we go to Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin requested a no disqualification match as Ronda and Charlotte are recovering. Baron Corbin comes out, and the match itself was just a match. Corbin tried to use a kendo stick. Braun took it, broke it over his knee, ended up giving Corbin a running power slam through a table in the corner. And right there, Strowman had the match won, but of course, in WWE fashion, you have to make your faces look extremely fucking stupid. So of course, after it's a running power slam to the table in the corner, all of a sudden McIntyre's music plays, and instead of pinning Corbin, winning the match, Strowman just stands there and goes, come on. And then, of course, McIntyre takes 20 minutes to come out because of his intro is 20 minutes long. So Braun Strowman could have won the match 15 fucking times by the time McIntyre hit the ring. McIntyre comes out to steal chair. As he comes out, tries to beat down Strowman. Strowman's upper hand. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Bobby Lashley comes out, attacks Strowman. Steel stabs get involved. They beat the fuck out of Strowman. You know, they take turns, of course, in their finishers. Lashley to spear. McIntyre hits Claymore. You know, just beating down Strowman. And then all of a sudden they set up 2 tables on top of each other. And then they hit the steel steps, put in the middle of the ring. And then all of a sudden, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin do the triple powerbomb. They do the shield powerbomb on Strowman, do the 2 tables. And then, of course, 1, 2, 3. Baron Corbin defeats Braun Strowman. Let me say that again. Baron Corbin beat Braun Strowman. Remember, supposedly, Braun Strowman was pulled from the match at the Royal Rumble against Brock Lesnar because they didn't want Strowman to lose to Lesnar. And what happens 3 weeks later? Strowman loses to fucking Baron Corbin. Great booking there. So, I don't... it just made me laugh. It was just hysterical. I don't... Why those 3 are, you know, a tandem again, I don't know. Obviously, the 3 of those, you know, McIntyre, Corbin, and Lashley, they're better off on their own. So why they feel the need to put them in a stable, I don't fucking know. And I don't care to see those 2 together at all. But we'll probably get some kind of 6-man tag at Fastlane with those 3 taking on Corbin, or not Corbin, Strowman, Angle, and by the way, why Angle didn't show up is beyond me. And someone else, you know, maybe Ziggler, probably fucking Ziggler, to be perfectly honest. That's probably your 6-man tag at Fastlane right there. So, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to that. But, yeah, just a waste of a time match that did not need to happen. And, of course, the wrong guy won. Why the fuck Baron Corbin's getting all these wins all of a sudden is beyond me. I don't know why they're pushing all of a sudden. But, yeah, way to make Braun Strowman look good. You couldn't lose to Brock Lesnar, but you can lose to Baron Corbin. Makes fucking sense. After that, we had an awkward Lacey Evans entrance where she literally walked down and walked right back. That's what it was. Don't know why, but it happened. Then, of course, we had to go to the main event, which, of course, was the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. Daniel Bryan defending against AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, and, of course, Jeff Hardy. This was a fantastic main event. This is definitely one of the best Elimination Chamber matches we've seen in recent years. I would say this rivals the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match from 2 years ago when Bray Wyatt won the championship. This was a fantastic Elimination Chamber match. I really enjoyed it. Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe started the match, which Bryan cut an awesome promo beforehand. And, they definitely were a great first 2 to start the match. The orders of entries went, of course, those 2 started. Kofi Kingston was the 3rd person in, then AJ Styles, then Jeff Hardy, then, of course, Randy Orton. Samoa Joe absolutely annihilated Daniel Bryan's chest with chops. Bryan's chest was just beat red. It was just absolutely destroyed at that point. Kofi Kingston did an awesome spot where Samoa Joe Irish whipped him into the corner, but he actually jumped up and then jumped on top of the pod because Bryan was trying to hide on top of the pod, and Kofi did that and was like, hey, get the fuck down. Hits Bryan down, and then he does a trust fall off of, I believe it was either the cell or the pod. I don't remember, but I remember Kofi doing the trust fall off of something, and that was a great spot, I thought. An awesome spot when AJ got in the ring. Bryan was trying to climb the chamber again, and AJ did the phenomenal forearm onto Daniel Bryan onto the chamber, which I thought was a great spot. And then, you know, Jeff Hardy did an awesome poetry motion where he did it off Kofi Kingston onto Daniel Bryan onto the outside, which is a great spot as well. And then Kofi Kingston he was great in this match. He definitely was a star in this match, especially at the end with him and Daniel Bryan. Those 2 went out there and had an awesome finish. And I just thought it was a hell of a Elimination Chamber match. There's a lot of great spots, and it was really enjoyable. And of course, the order of eliminations when AJ Styles eliminated Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe tried to lock in the Coquina Clutch Kofi Kingston several times. They tried to recreate the finish on SmackDown Live where, you know, Kofi bounces off the ropes and pins Joe away as in the Coquina Clutch. They tried to do a callback of that, but Joe, you know, was smart enough. Kofi was able to hit a jawbreaker onto Samoa Joe, which allowed AJ to hit the phenomenal forearm on Samoa Joe. So Samoa Joe was eliminated pretty early on. Why they keep doing him dirty is beyond me. Jeff Hardy's elimination was awesome as well. He set up AJ Styles onto the turnbuckle and actually did a swanton off of the pod onto the turnbuckle. Awesome fucking spot. But the thing what made it more beautiful is when Hardy did it, like Hardy like rolled through, and when he rolled through the swanton, he went right into Daniel Bryan's running knee. So Bryan pins him 1, 2, 3. Jeff Hardy's eliminated. Awesome elimination right there. And then of course Randy Orton eliminated AJ Styles. AJ Styles went for the phenomenal forearm. Orton caught him, RKO, eliminated AJ Styles. He's out of there. And then Kofi Kingston was able to eliminate Randy Orton. Orton went for the RKO. Kofi was able to push him out of the way. Trail of Paradise, 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton is eliminated. So Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan were your final 2 competitors in the Elimination Chamber match. And they put on like an awesome like 10 to 15 minute little showcase. The crowd was red fucking hot for this match. Like, this is how great Daniel Bryan and WWE can be. Remember in 2012, the Elimination Chamber match when Bryan was World Heavyweight Champion and defended it? And the final 2 were him and Santino. And you knew, like, okay, there's no way fuck Santino's winning. but they made you believe Santino was winning the championship in the match. That's how fucking great Bryan's selling was. The crowd was red hot. People were invested, and they believed Santino was going to win. That's what they did in this match. People were believing Kofi was going to win the championship from Daniel Bryan. The near falls were insane. The crowd was red fucking hot for Kofi Kingston. They need to pull the trigger on this guy. You know, I've always liked Kofi, but now this dude's really, really over, and they need to pull the trigger on him because him and Bryan had an awesome showcase. A lot of great near falls. You know, hit the SOS on Bryan for a great near fall. Bryan hit the running knee, and then Kofi kicked out of it, which got a huge reaction. Then all of a sudden, Bryan took him, started stomping the fuck out of Kofi's face in. Then, of course, went for the running knee, but Kofi countered it into the Trouble in Paradise, which was an awesome, awesome, awesome spot. And then, of course, but it was an awesome spot that quickly got ruined because when Kofi went for the pin, Bryan countered the pin into a cradle, but for whatever fucking reason, Kevin fucking Dunn, the dipshit that he is, cut to the crowd when when Bryan countered the pin. So you didn't see the pin, you just heard it while the fucking camera was on like fucking someone in the crowd that wasn't even reacting to anything. Terrible, terrible, terrible camera cut that ruined a great moment because that could have been a great near fall or it could have been a great finish. But no, the camera work wasn't there, so we got fucked out of seeing that. And then, of course, you know, Kofi set up Bryan. He was going for a superplex, but it didn't work out. Ended up getting Bryan down. Went for a huge, like, frog splash off the pod. Bryan got out of the way. Ended up hitting a running knee on Kofi Kingston once again to secure the victory and retain the WWE Championship. Like I said, this was a hell of an Elimination Chamber match. When it came down to Bryan and Kofi, I felt like those two went out there and tore the house down and had one hell of a final sequence, and would love to see a singles match, whether it's at Fastlane, maybe even WrestleMania, or sometime after WrestleMania if Bryan's still champion. Would love to see a title match, one-on-one between the two of those men. So, yeah, it made me believe Kofi was going to win. And, of course, you know, they did the whole, you know, standing ovation for Kofi. You know, Kofi was the last thing going off the air. New Day came out, got him. Kind of was like, you know, showing the respect for Kofi. The crowd was giving him a standing ovation as the show went off the air. So definitely thought that was a great moment for Kofi because, you know, this week has been Kofi Kingston's week, whether it was on SmackDown Live or Elimination Chamber. His performances were absolutely outstanding, and he definitely deserved the standing ovation. So, yeah, that was the ending to Elimination Chamber. And like I said, I thought it was a solid show. I thought it was good for what it was. It had its moments, but definitely had some bad stuff as well. The Elimination Chamber match is delivered for the most part, even though I wasn't too blown away with the women's Elimination Chamber match. I still feel like it delivered to be a pretty good match, and of course the main event was fantastic. Finn Bálor winning the Intercontinental title was awesome. You know, the segment with Becky coming out and attacking Charlotte and Ronda was great. The SmackDown Tag Team title match was, you know, pretty damn good as well. And yeah, I thought it was a solid show. Like I said, even though it didn't have any significance to it, I thought it was solid for what it was. So that's my review for Elimination Chamber, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please feel free to leave a like below. If you guys also like, leave your guys' thoughts on Elimination Chamber in the comment section below. And of course, next time, I'll see you guys there. Thank you guys for watching the video.